Oh, that was probably really loud. I apologize. Good morning, everybody. It's the pollinator, and let's see. Let's take care of a little housekeeping. If you like the contents of my video, even if you don't like the contents of my video, there's a subscribe button over there, and if you click the bell, it'll have an option for all notifications of videos that I upload. And what else? Oh, the thumbs up, thumbs down, share if you'd like. And also, from time to time, I put cards in my video. If you're not using a television, they'll show up over there, and you can, pull down or click on it, and you will see other videos that you can click to as a point of reference for the ones that I'm making. So, today, a couple years ago, maybe a few years ago, I was fired up. If you go back and look at some of the videos I made in 2017 and 2018, and even 2019, you could tell that I was the anger, the internal anger, and I would say cultural anger that we have. And you know what? It's not really cultural. I finally figured that out. People are always accusing black people of being angry black woman, angry black man. And all I have to say to that is, if you lived under the conditions we've been living in since we were brought over here to make y'all rich, to make white people rich, if you were brought over here and to work the land, we black people built this country. We built this economy that your ancestors enjoyed long ago, and you're still benefiting and enjoying it, many of you today. That generated kind of generational wealth that black people don't have. Even if some of our family members are rich, celebrities, or whatever, it's still not enough to create generational wealth for large groups of people in our 33%. Wait a minute, how many percent are we? Oh, I'm sorry, that 33% is the vote. 13% is the amount of black people in America. Probably 14% of the population is black. But if you were forced to live with generational racism, that's what we got instead of what y'all got, which was wealth. Black people have been robbed of their resources, robbed of their land, robbed of all sorts of things to prevent us from rising as a people in this economy, in this capitalistic system and economy in the United States. If you were stripped of your resources and had the police still treating us like they're slave catchers, people still barking at us and calling us out our name, in corporations, it's all underboard now, how they practice systemic racism. And then you've got a bunch of loudmouth white supremacists running around that are, kind of kicking us all over the country. If you had all that going on, you'd be angry too. And if it wasn't that way, we wouldn't be so angry. If you didn't make us jump 10 hurdles for every one that you jump, If it wasn't that way, we wouldn't be angry. If we got the same opportunities that white people got in this country, and other people, white people made that word race. So if other races of people they got better opportunities than we did. Black people have been stripped of all of that for a long, long, long time. So that brings me to the topic of this video, which is something that has occurred to me lately. Actually, the first time it occurred to me was in 1991. The title of this video is called We Need Black Wall Streets all over the nation. Maybe 10, 15 hot spots in the United States. If we had black Wall Streets, we could end this thing called racism. We could end systemic racism. We would be able to end all sorts of shit if we had generational wealth. We'd be able to end all this nonsense that's going on in the United States. And they're making goddamn sure that we don't. That all we are mules to work for them in jobs. That we are only consumers. That's what we've been reduced to in this country. Brown, yellow, red are not in this situation, and definitely not white. People are not in this situation that we're in, where we, for the most part, have no resources in this country. So in lieu of the Tulsa, Oklahoma, Greenwood, Black Wall Street getting burnt to the fucking ground because of a bunch of jealous ass white people, the reasons why they do this sort of thing, almost each time, it's some white woman who lied and said that some black guy touched her, said something to her, or raped her when he didn't. And that was enough for a whole shitload of white guys to run together and burn cities down and bomb them down. Tulsa, Oklahoma happened to be Greenwood, I'll say. It's a community inside of Tulsa. Happened to be the wealthiest. They were doing the best of 8 affluent communities in the United States from the year 1963 till 1923. And I'm going to read a stat here because this is very interesting. Okay, so in 1863, New York City had a riot caused by white people. They can interchange riot with massacre. Either way, they stopped progress in those communities for black people, which would have been the equivalent of giving us 40 acres and a mule. So in 1863, New York City was stopped. There was a draft riot, which, okay, I haven't looked at what any of these mean, but so keep that in mind. 1863. In 1906, wait a minute. Yeah, 1906, there was the Atlanta, Georgia race riots. That halted progress of communities, of black community here in Atlanta. In 1919, no, I'm sorry, in 1917, the East St. Louis, Missouri, probably Illinois, the east side of St. Louis is in Illinois. So there was a massacre in 1917. In 1919, 3 different communities were burnt down. Chicago, Washington, D.C., and Knoxville, Tennessee. All three of them in 1919. In 1921 was the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre. In 1923 was the Rosewood, Florida massacre. And in so that equals 8. And check it out. Back then, everything was cheaper. It wasn't cheaper for us because we had no money. So we had to obtain land, which we were able to do in those various areas. And then some rich guy or woman, I'm not sure if women had that kind of wealth back then, but they started the communities, the black communities in those cities. And each time the white folks got mad and burnt it to the ground, and we have never recovered since. We did not get reparations. We did not get made whole. All of the insurance companies of the time refused to pay out for the burning of those cities. Nobody got arrested. Nobody got, it wasn't against the law back then to do what they did. And I don't think any of those cities, well, maybe some of them, I need to study each one of them, but they didn't have enough protection to prevent the overwhelm of, 2, 3, 4, 500, 800 white people coming into those areas and abusing people. But see, Tulsa, Oklahoma just had its centennial, its 100-year. I'm not going to say a celebration because it wasn't supposed to be a celebration. But it marked 100 years since Tulsa, Oklahoma was burnt to the ground. And check it out. The government, all the businesses, and all the politicians in Tulsa are completely ignoring this. They still won't give reparations for that. They want to act like we don't got to do that. All we got to do is apologize. Okay, newsflash. Apologizing doesn't do shit. Especially something of that magnitude. What is your apologies going to do? Nothing. If you don't amend the situation, if you don't make things right, then you're hypocrites and you're full of shit. I heard something earlier tonight or last night where this woman was talking about, all the people, all of the special interest groups that get in line and get theirs before we do, which reminds me of something I've been saying since I started making videos. Well, shortly after I started making videos about the NCTE, transgender equality up in Washington, D.C. And that is, what Mara Kinsley said, which didn't mean nothing. It was just symbolism to say it because she happened to be in a city where there's majority black people here. But saying that if we didn't get our fair share, our equality, black people, we didn't get ours first, then they didn't deserve theirs. But see, are they turning away reparations made to them and giving them to black people? No. Are any of the special interest groups doing that? No. They may be saying that they believe in equality, but they standing in line and cutting in line with their hands out, and they just take the resources. That is what leads to black on black crime. People love to fucking hyperbole of pointing out black on black crime when we talk about police violence. I love to bring that up. But see, here's the deal. You shove a bunch of white people in an area and take away their voting rights, take away all the resources, hospitals, schools, banks, whatever, and you condense a bunch of people in one area feeling trapped by circumstances, by society, by how the oppression. You oppress them people, they will turn on each other. They will turn to violence on each other. So I don't want to hear about the fucking black on black crime, because there's a reason for that. And that is you stuck a bunch of people together like in a cage, took away their resources, their food, their water, their health, their everything, health care, everything. Jobs, opportunities, businesses. What do you think they're going to fucking do besides turn on each other? It's dog eat dog at that point. It's a matter of survival at that point. And there is not a white person in this fucking country that's ever been forced to try to survive like that. Not one of you. That is why we say and have said every single white person in this country is a racist, who isn't fighting to make things right, who isn't fighting to make things equal, who isn't banging on the doors of politicians and the government to, give us their fair share. Nah, it's a race. It's a race, and whoever gets to the resources first wins. And they ain't going to give that up for nothing. They're not going to give that up. So if we are to thrive and survive if we're going to live and thrive, we have to create Black Wall Streets all over again. In the same way. No reason to reinvent the wheel. But you see, here we got a problem. We got a problem in the United States called integration was a mistake. And I knew that in 1991. I knew that. I happened to be reading Malcolm X's book when Rodney King was beat up, and I was sitting there watching the trial of those police officers, them Leos, when they got acquitted. I was so angry. And I don't know, in the middle of my anger, I thought, we need to get away from these people. We need our own state. We need a few states in the United States. But you know what? I would settle for cities, not states. Or like communities like Greenwood, communities inside of cities in the United States. Doesn't have to be a whole state. That would be nice, so we can just completely seclude ourselves away from the atrocities that integration created. The integration hasn't done us anything. We get the crumbs of every corporation, every business, our government, and every politician in the nation. They throw crumbs at us. And we're so poor, generational poor, poverty, that people take the crumbs and then say, ooh, tastes good, tastes like steak. Ain't steak, it's crumbs, breadcrumbs, milk bones, butter biscuits, like that crazy ass Vicky Dillard says. So they're real good at, appeasing us by throwing us crumbs. And, I swear to God, this is the answer. I have a friend that told me that some woman contacted him trying to push her agenda of a woman's agenda. I'm not going to say exactly what it is because I don't want to. She's a nice lady and I don't want to out her business or have anybody chasing it around or whatever. But he's very astute to what goes on Fucker Book, They've got people going in so many different directions, and there are so many people standing there looking for handouts, and there are so many people that are begging the government and politicians and white people to do the right thing, that he told her, let me see if I can remember, he told her that, you know, okay, her agenda was all well and good, and it had to do with health care for women. And he said, okay, when I was talking to him, he said that he said to her, what if we had our own hospitals? What if we didn't have to rely on white health care? What if we had Greenwoods all over the place, and we could, with black doctors, black owners of the hospital, owners and employees and everything, all black. I said, what if we had that? Would that not be the answer? She said, yeah, it would. I said, well, maybe you ought to concentrate on that. Or, you know, that's what he said to her. And she got excited. And I'm getting excited that, you know, I don't know how we're going to do it, because we're not getting resources and we're not getting cooperation from the government. We need reparations. If we got reparations, we could do it. We could do it. Even if they gave reparations to every black person in America, and some of them blew that shit off, there would be enough of us that would get together and do the right thing and create communities in Black Wall Streets again. But you know what? They know this. That's why they won't give us reparations. That's why they won't give us land. That's why they won't give us little areas of city. See, the white folks stole that land that Greenwood was sitting on. If you go out there, you know what? I'm just going to put some links of what Black Wall Street looked like in the 1900s, latter 1800s to 1921, was it? Yeah, 1921 is when, man, those people looked proud, they looked relaxed, they looked happy. I looked at their faces. They didn't have the stress that most black Americans have every day. Where does that stress come from? Trying to make a buck, trying to pay your bills, trying to work overtime, work too much. Your life belongs to these corporations, which just makes us nothing but slaves, because they're the owners and you're the slaves. And they're throwing crumbs at you compared to what their fucking CEOs are making. And CEOs, COOs, CFOs, all them executives of these corporations are making way more than the worker bees in America. And it wouldn't be so bad if all of us want worker bees. There's like almost no middle class in the black community. You're either poor, or you're a celebrity and you're rich. And no wonder we can't get that together, where poor black people stop throwing stones at rich celebrities. Because you know what? We're going to need them. We're going to need their resources to build these Black Wall Streets. But it can't be like, you know what? Okay, they can build it. They can live there, but don't fucking take from them. Because that happened to us when I was a child. We lived in the hood. I didn't always live in a rich, white, affluent area of Omaha. We lived in the hood up into 4th grade. And people tried to steal from us. They tried to break into our house. Why? Because the dynamics that they've got set up for us sets everybody up for that. You get tired of being broken and can't feed your family and can't support your habits, that the only reason why you're participating in those habits is because they're feeling bad about your lot in life, and so you get fucked up, and then you need to go somewhere to steal to get your drug money, alcohol money, whatever. It's all systemic. The circumstances set that up to struggle. And you look across the street and see somebody that's doing better than you, the temptation's there to steal. Even though that's not, the way the Christian religion is set up, thou shalt not do that, right? People do it anyway because they're just frustrated. I see it all like the Matrix, like I've said in other videos. I see it very clearly, and I see the answer is for us to pull away from them and create our own, no matter what it takes. No matter what it takes. People stop thinking that stop begging white people for money. Roland Martin is doing that to try to get some of the marketing and advertising money for media companies, because it's very clear. Yeah, we're going to have to get a start. We're going to have to get something to start with. But he's on a whole nother level. He wants great big pieces of the pie, because all of these corporations only drop like 1% of the money that they have for marketing on black-owned businesses, black-owned media companies. 1% for all of the black-owned media companies to share. While they give 90-something% of that marketing money to white-owned businesses. See how it works? Same with contracting. Same with farming. Same with anything that black people own, which isn't very much. So, excuse me. So we need to, we need to create Black Wall Streets. And we're going to have to be not kiss your ass nice to rich black people, but give them a motherfucking break and stop being so jealous and so envious of them that you're looking down your nose at them. You are judging them. I'm talking to black people. I ain't talking to white people. We need to stop paying so much attention to them. I watch a lot of different kinds of black people, lots of different kinds, and I do that so that I can get well-rounded in what everybody's talking about, and somehow in the middle of that I see the way that we need to go. I'm black first. I didn't coin that term. I just use it because I happen to agree with it. That before anything else, that's what people see in society, is that I'm black, and that is the longest struggle that black people have, over and beyond the LGBTQ plus and any other kind of special interest that you can think of. We have been left out of the loop. We've got to create our own seat at the table called the Corporation of the United States. We've got to create our own businesses. We've got to create our own government. Dr. Claude Anderson talks about that. He's got a bunch of books that the guy that is promoting him, he needs a bigger platform than that if he wants to get widespread about the content of his books. I have all of them right here. I've only read one, but I have all of them. And he He has a lot of answers to what we should be doing, the direction we should be going. And that, yeah, we need to pay attention to us first. Not everybody else. Not brown first. Not red first. Not yellow first. Let them be on their own for a while we get it back together. And then we'll be able to help all of them. See? But until we help ourselves, until we put ourselves